Okay, I know it seems like nowadays all I cover on this channel is music, but like, the pop girlies are the ones who have been giving the drama this year. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Okay, if you were around here earlier today, you may have noticed that a version of this video was already posted, but even though I thought I was clear that some allegations present in this video were rumored and speculated, judging by the comments, I did not make that clear enough, and some things, quite honestly, have changed since I recorded my track last night. So instead of fighting in the comments with people over it, or making a pinned comment with all of the updates, I had some extra time on my hands today, so I figured, let's be more thorough. There's nothing wrong with expecting a certain standard from and demanding more of your creators within reason. You wanted me to do better, so here we are. We're doing better. Okay, so of course, after I just finished saying in another video that I have nothing more to contribute to the Katy Perry conversation because Todd in the Shadows pretty much covered it all in his video about Witness for his ongoing train record series, the monkey's paw curled, and now we have lots more to talk about. Let me quickly summarize for those who have been living under a rock. Remember Katy Perry? You know, California Girls, Firework, everywhere in the early 2000s, that Katy Perry? Well, around 2017, she released an album called Witness, which was supposed to be her post-election of Donald Trump come to Jesus moment, where she differentiated herself from the dumb, loud pop of the early 2000s in an attempt to take on a much more meaningful, purposeful sound. This did not go well for a number of reasons.
Can you see me? I mean, I know you can see me, but can you really see me? My name is Katherine Hudson. I'm vulnerable and strong. I'm a woman, an artist. I'm liberated, goofy, and I'm not always right. I'm Katy Perry, and I'm not just one thing.
And after that album and era flopped commercially, Katy decided to take a more normie gig on the reboot of American Idol in 2018. Which I think was a good move for her because the audience of that show is less so chronically online Zoomers who label her as cringe, and more so like moms who love Morgan Wallen and fall for Facebook AI bait. Although her and like she had made her millions in the early 2000s, 2010s, and if she wanted to ride out the rest of her heyday on American Idol, so be it. But this week, Katy Perry, who has been teasing for about a year or so that she's ready to come back to music, announced the name of her upcoming newest single, and I had mixed feelings. I had mixed thoughts, I guess, because I don't know what Katy Perry's place is in pop music anymore. And to explain what I mean here, I guess I have to go on a little bit of a pop music diatribe, where like, when I was in elementary school, middle school, even the beginning of high school, you know, that 2008 to 2016 period of time, Katy Perry's music fit in because it was big and loud and kinda silly, almost campy, and I don't mean any of those things in a negative way. Teenage Dream is one of the best pop albums of the 2010s, and I feel like people have slowly come around to giving it its flowers, but in 2009, the dominant cultural zeitgeist commentary was like, oh my god, look at Katy Perry naked on this album cover. Oh my god, she's spraying whipped cream out of her boobs. That's not how you spell girls, Katy Perry. You spelled it G-U-R-L-S. You're so hot and dumb. And like around that time, you know, you had Lady Gaga, Rihanna. The pop scene was being ruled by women, but you know, outside of diehard online stan culture, the dominant commentary would be just like people being misogynist and mean, and that's how we talked about mainstream pop music. And once again, if you personally feel like you've been exempt from this narrative, and that you saw the value in early 2000s pop music all along, congratulations, here's your special little star. You are so unique and so special, and I'm proud of you. But yeah, for the sake of condensing down the entire mainstream pop music timeline here, Lorde happened, and then everyone was like, oh, we have to take pop music by young women seriously. And then every pop star tried to copy Lorde, and all of the fun, stupid recession-era bangers went away. But I'm excited to announce that the pop girlies have been given what they need to give in 2023 and 2024, and so we're so fucking back. It was in fact never over. We're so fucking back. By we're so back, I mean I'm kind of loving the up-and-coming pop girlies right now. Of course, I recently talked about Chappell Roan, and how her music is sort of filling the need for the upbeat bangers of our time. Same goes with Sabrina Carpenter, although I think she's a little bit more low-key. Although the horny, campy, effortlessly cool lyrics fit the vibe that I'm talking about here. And of course, Olivia Rodrigo, who has more Lorde, Taylor Swift-inspired moody hits, but also has some more angsty bangers like So American. And then of course there's Charlie XCX's new album, which is fucking fantastic. Go stream Brat. It's a Brat summer. I'm Brat pilled. Anyway, and in the first iteration of this video, somebody commented and asked why I'm not including Taylor Swift or Beyonce in this little hypothetical here. And I just think it's because in terms of popularity and success, they're sort of in a different lane. And like, they don't necessarily have to cater to trend cycles. And at one point, Katy Perry was that big, but like not anymore, you know what I mean? My point is that like, there's a lot going on in pop right now, and it's a little bit more refined, a little bit more experimental, but it's also really fun. And like, can Katy Perry and her team deliver that fun, campy aspect of things in her new projects? Sure, we've watched her do it for decades now. But I feel like to fit in with this new era of pop, you have to be, you know, nonchalant and cool like Sabrina, or cutting edge like Charlie. Especially because some of Katy Perry's contemporaries, both era and age-wise, for example Justin Timberlake and Jennifer Lopez, both released music this year, and both of their projects kind of flopped. And I'm worried that Katy will fall more into that camp than like the group of listeners I'm assuming she's trying to appeal to for mass acclaim. Now, this is all a little presumptuous on my part based on just what I've seen and heard so far, but as of recording this video, there is a little bit of controversy behind Katy Perry's new single and who wrote it and who's behind it, so we're gonna talk about that now. Now, as of recording this video, all Katy Perry has announced is the name of her new single, Woman's World. And she's posted snippets of the song on Instagram as well that I cannot play for copyright. And there is a rumor currently floating around that not only was the song originally given to Ava Max, and presumably passed on to Katy Perry at another point, but it was also allegedly produced by disgraced music producer Dr. Luke. I say rumored and alleged because there is currently some conflicting information as to whether or not this is officially debunked, and quite frankly, what is going on with this single, because the rabbit hole like is so deep at this point. So we're gonna break all of that down in a second, and yeah, if you haven't guessed, this is the part that I'm adding to this video. But first, let me catch you up on why this is controversial in the first place. Now, if you're out of the loop, Dr. Luke is notoriously not a great guy. Many female artists who have worked with him do not have very nice things to say about him, especially Kesha, who has been very outspoken about Dr. Luke's actions, and has been outspoken about the fact that Dr. Luke allegedly raped her. I am saying alleged for legal purposes, and just for your information, the ongoing legal battle between Kesha and Dr. Luke over that claim was settled in court last year. Actually, let me just cut in here with an article that I found. There's a report by People that Katy Perry, who has worked with Dr. Luke in the past, felt pressured to support Kesha when all of that legal stuff was going on. And basically at that time, it seems like she was annoyed that she was getting dragged into that whole lawsuit, because basically Katy Perry said in a testimony that Dr. Luke never raped her. And so apparently Dr. Luke's legal team was trying to use that to prove defamation against Kesha. Now, I am not an expert on how the music industry works. That is not my field of expertise. However, multiple things can be true. Dr. Luke has probably written a song that you really like at some point in time if you are at all a fan of pop music. He can be a bad, shitty, awful, terrible person and everyone can know about it, and somehow through the powers that be, he can still be getting work. Now here's where things get a little bit confusing. There are people claiming that this rumor is 100% confirmed, and there are people claiming that it has been 100% debunked. Neither of those things are true. There is currently one snippet of this song that Katy Perry has posted herself lip-syncing to on Instagram. Presumably, this is what the single sounds like. And again, I cannot play this in the event that it gets copyright struck. But at the very least, we know that the title of the song matches up to and has some connection with Ava Max. Because a couple of years ago, Ava Max posted a photo to Instagram with the caption, "It's a woman's world," which is still up. I'm literally looking at it right now. From here, a number of blind items suggested that this song was supposed to be part of one of Ava Max's albums, but it was cut. And then Katy Perry's team picked up the song, and Dr. Luke's involvement was somewhere within that timeline. This is the rumor that got picked up on Twitter, so much so that even Kesha acknowledged it, tweeting LOL. Now that original tweet that I showed you is on a lyric website called Genius, and that has since been taken down. Additionally, people have been directing me toward a series of posts where an Ava Max fan supposedly admitted to making up the rumor that the song was associated with both Ava Max and Dr. Luke. Now, the last confusing part of this puzzle is that apparently at some point last night there were leaks of the song floating around on Twitter, and people had been claiming that the snippet that Katy Perry posted had been extrapolated using AI, and that's what the leaks were when people were listening to them. Somebody apparently DM'd Katy Perry's manager about those leaks, and he said those were fake, but it's unclear if he's also referring to the version that Katy Perry is lip-syncing to on her Instagram, which to me seems unlikely, because if she's trying to promote this new era, then why would she be lip-syncing an AI version of it? But that's what some people have been claiming. And people who are convinced that the Dr. Luke Ava Max connection is actually legit are questioning why Katy Perry's manager would allegedly confirm that the leaks are fake, but not come right out and say anything about any alleged Dr. Luke connection. Because theoretically that's a rumor you would want to dispel very quickly, especially because Katy Perry acknowledged not working with him during her Witness era. Ultimately, the writing credits behind the song are likely not going to be confirmed until the song comes out. And it's not entirely unlikely that it was produced by or handed off through Dr. Luke in some form or fashion. Because like I said earlier, statistically he has probably been involved in a pop song that you like. Kiss Me More by Doja Cat and Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj are recent examples. And like I've always said, whether you care about that, and whether or not you want that to impact your listening choices and consumption habits is ultimately up to you. It's a very subjective thing. This move has also called attention to Katy Perry's past, adoption of feminist empowerment and language and themes in her music, only to turn around and, participate in actions that don't necessarily qualify with that demographic. For example, I've seen a lot of people bringing up the fact that she publicly supported Rick Caruso when he was running for mayor in LA. If you're unfamiliar, Rick Caruso is a Republican who was sort of disguised as a Democrat because that's kind of the only way to get on the ballot in California. And at the time, a lot of celebrities were doing paid endorsements of him because he was like a multimillionaire. So, it's a classic situation of groups of people online accusing Katy Perry of co-opting the language and aesthetics of being feminist and LGBTQ friendly, and then in real life not having values that align with that. And every time I talk about stuff like this, I say that it ultimately comes down to a personal choice for you. Can you separate the art from the artist, or can you not? Are these factors enough for you to withdraw any support you might have had for Katy Perry coming back to the music scene? Is it the kind of thing where she doesn't realize how important it is in this day and age? Because Katy Perry came up in a time where an artist's values didn't necessarily have to reflect the politics of their listeners in order to get them to, listen. So it's too early to call right now, I guess, but one could say that the bag has been fumbled before it ever had a chance to be secured. And I guess ultimately we still have a lot to learn about this comeback, because all we really know right now is like the lead single. To me, it's just like, what is Katy Perry trying to say? You know what I mean? I do think with the current trends in pop music, the landscape has been primed for her sound more than it has been in like 10 or so years. But Witness was her attempt at being sort of woke and insightful, and it kind of temporarily destroyed her career a bit. And I'm assuming that this time around she's not going to attempt to be as prolific, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. A reminder that you can follow me on Twitter here because my old account got suspended. You can also connect with me at all of the social media listed in this beautiful link tree, which can be found in the description down below. While you're down in the comments, let me know what your favorite album of the year so far is. I think mine, like I said a little earlier, is Brat by Charlie XCX. It is the summer of chartreuse. Thanks so much, you guys, and I'll see you next time.